Hello, everyone. I'm Junius, Currier, Director of Talent Acquisition and Sourcing Operations at Maximus. And thanks. Love the intro there. Appreciate it, Daniel. Yeah, and today we're going to just be talking about how AI is not just transforming recruiting; it's actually redefining the roles that we have as strategic partners in hiring. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me see here. All right. Sorry for the delay. All right. Without further ado, let's dive into the future of hiring through the lens of intelligent collaboration.
Hey, Junius,
So
are you sharing your screen right now? It's not sharing.
it's not sharing. How about now?
Okay, now we're here we go.
Can you see it?
Give it 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Now
What
we're
we got?
good.
Okay, we're good. All right, perfect. All right, let me move this out of the way. All right, great. Okay, so the shift in talent acquisition, right? I think we're all kind of feeling that, and it's a very real thing. So AI is reshaping how we attract, engage, how we manage talent. It's more than just automation, right? It's about how do we make smarter decisions? How do we provide better experiences? How do we elevate talent acquisition as a strategic function in 2025 and beyond? And this is a very real shift that we're all kind of going through. A recent survey about a year or so ago by Gartner reflected that 52% of HR leaders at that time were already using, Gen AI in talent acquisition. And they're using it for anything from interview questions, offer generation, and automation, virtual assistants. And I foresee a future, right, where it's going to be not just that, it's going to be emerging trends like bias mitigation, predictive analytics, which are going to just continuously be pushing us forward towards hyper personalized, data driven hiring. And so I kind of have some emerging trends here listed that you can kind of look at. Obviously, with the emergence of agentic AI, assistants, offering 24/7 candidate engagement, automating those scheduling tasks, answering entry level questions, right? These are tools that are going to allow some of the functions that traditionally have been expected of recruiters to do. We're going to be able to kind of shift some things around and allow them to be more strategic talent advisors. Additionally, with sourcers. SHRM recently came out with a survey of AI adoption and talent acquisition. And currently, right now, this is how, based on 2025 talent trends, how many companies are reporting that they're using AI right now, right? So 66% are saying that they're using AI to generate job descriptions, 44% screening applicants, 32% automated candidate searches, 31%, customizing specific job posts to specific groups of people, and then up to 29% using AI to help them communicate with applicants during the interview process. Right. A lot of this is around, scalability. A lot of this is around how do we create a frictionless workflow to be able to engage the talent that we need to engage, but do it in a way that allows our strategic talent advisors to spend less time with the administration duties and more time doing the value add duties, which is the talent mapping, conversing with candidates, getting involved in the industry to really be that subject matter expert, to for and be the face of the organizations that you have the privilege to represent. Um, and on the flip side of that, something I think it's important to understand as we talk about the evolution of where we expect talent acquisition and sourcing to evolve to. It's interesting to know how currently organizations are set up. And what I noticed was 42, like, so this is looking at the total recruiting staffing size. 42% of it is made up of recruiters. You got some HR generalists. You have some recruiting administrator and coordinators at like 9%. You got management at 9%, executive recruiters at 9%. You got sourcing specialists, sourcers at 4%. And you have recruitment, marketing, employment branding specialists at 1%. And so I thought that was pretty interesting because it kind of shows, where there is probably going to be the biggest evolution, based upon like who makes up the majority of the talent acquisition function, and what areas could you envision some adjustments. And so the next slide, we'll be talking about implications. So I do believe that AI will further automate high volume tasks, shifting some roles like coordinators and contract recruiters. I believe that strategic roles like ops managers and sourcing specialists will continue to grow. And I also believe that branding and candidate experience will need more human storytelling. So I expect a lot of areas in that particular domain to continue to increase as well. The net here is that traditional recruiting will continue to evolve to be more AI augmented advisors, as opposed to just being, hey, we have this task of filling jobs. The filling jobs is going to stay the same, but the how we go about filling the jobs will change. And Mark did a fantastic presentation before I got up here, just talking about how you can, as a talent advisor, utilize AI to help you identify across the whole spectrum of your organization what roles the candidate that you have would be best fit for. That's going to speed up hiring, right? So I think this is really a great story of how AI and tools of the like are going to help us to be more efficient and provide more of a strategic, consultative advantage to the organizations that we support. So something else that I thought was interesting that I wanted to share for today's presentation as well was talking about the hype cycle of talent acquisition technologies, right? Because there's a lot of hype right now around, well, this tool can do this and this tool can do this, and I think it's important as we talk about the evolution to kind of understand truly where these technologies are right now. So, and eventually these technologies are going to kind of reach a plateau. So this is just kind of speaking to, some of the technologies that are kind of in a 0 to 2 year window of development. Some that are before they reach a plateau of expectations, and some that are within that 5 to 10 year window, and then some that are in that 2 to 5. And you can see, right, there's a lot of AI that are in, like, hey, we don't know where it's going to end up, but what we do know is it's going to be a part of the development of the function that we serve for the organizations that we work for. So AI enabled skills management, recruitment marketing, candidate sourcing. We're just really starting to get into tapping into all the capacity and the capabilities of those technologies. So that's what this slide is talking about here. So obviously AI is going to be central to TA innovation. So tools like Gen AI enabled sourcing, skills management are maturing very fast. Over the next 2 to 5 years, if we, I do expect that we're probably going to see mainstream adoption. And as a result of that, internal marketplaces, like within the organization, are going to be becoming really, really important from a labor intelligence perspective, reshaping workforce planning within the organization I work at now. We have a huge initiative of how do we continue to upskill and redeploy, and we're using AI to help us understand that story, understand where are the people in our organization from the skill set perspective, aligning with the organizational mission that we have and the future trends of the business that we're going after, and where will we need to kind of do upskilling. These are things that are super complex, And we're able to have these discussions by leveraging AI tools to really understand the skill sets that we have and roadmap a plan to make sure that the workforce that we have today is built for the workforce that we need 5, 10 years from now. Again, just talking about additional strategic AI and TA innovation strategies where we expect operational efficiency gains, right? We talked about that. I talked about that a little bit earlier. Interview scheduling, video interviewing, digital candidate matching. But again, the crux of it is that I expect new roles are going to emerge, and such as an AI talent strategist, a skills intelligence analyst, TA automation architects, like because of the increase in AI within the talent acquisition space, we are, one of the things that I definitely anticipate is that we're going to have new roles that are introduced to what we do from a talent attraction perspective. Okay. Next slide I wanted to kind of just talk about here, right, is how TA leaders are envisioning using AI. And I think this is important because it kind of talks about where I expect it to continue to go, right? So we probably, you guys are probably already know this, right? Career site content generation, job description optimization, SOP training, onboarding content generation. So these are just examples of currently today how we in the mainstream are using AI on a day-to-day basis for either optimization or for talent attraction purposes. But there's some of the new roles I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but I did want to talk about this because I thought this was interesting. This is some of the data comes from Gartner for federal future ready sourcing for AI talent, and it was recently just came out. And I thought some of the roles were pretty interesting. One of the roles that they talked about that they believe will exist as a result of artificial intelligence is an AI talent ecosystem architect. So someone that's going to be designing and integrating AI capabilities across sourcing, engagement, and talent analytics. I mean, I just thought that was like just such a cool concept, because I think a lot of times people are kind of like, hey, they're going to take our jobs, and there's going to be no need for recruiters, or and one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is the partnership aspect of what AI will enable us to do. So it's, to me, it's less about roles being removed and the functionality not needing to exist anymore, and more about how the dynamic of the work that we do evolves. And so again, right, a Gen AI expert for AR, they're going to lead the implementation of AI tools for job descriptions, interviews, onboarding. These are just some really cool positions that I thought just deserve to be kind of highlighted. So to the crux, right? So high volume recruiters, there are roles right out there that people do a lot of high volume. It's less strategic and it's more transactional recruiting. How they're going to be impacted is because of the utilization of virtual assistants and candidate assessments and automated coordination. They're going to have more time to source, so their roles will evolve. They may evolve into maybe focusing more strategic roles, less time focusing on just filling positions, because again, a lot of that manual time consuming work will be automated and it can be done at just a scalable level. So that is one aspect. Corporate recruiters, right? They're going to spend more time with candidates because they're going to be automating interviews, manual tasks, etc. So niche recruiters will lean more into the market intelligence and be able to personalize their outreach to have more developed relationships for those high impact placements in the future. So all this change that we're talking about, one of the things that also sticks out to me is not just about how roles will evolve or what technology is out there. Technologies, they're always being developed, but at the end of the day, if you don't have really a good roadmap for how you are going to implement them into your organization, you can have the best intentions and they can fall flat on their face. So one of the things that I thought was important is understanding that in order for these technologies to be ingrained in an organization, right? We need to understand how does what is our AI vision for talent acquisition, how does that align with the organization's vision for AI and how it's going to help meet the organizational goals, right? The next thing is also an assessment of AI maturity. We can, there are tools out there that would be great, but maybe from a process standpoint, or maybe from a just organizational makeup standpoint, you're just not quite ready to take that step in leveraging that particular AI tool. And I've seen this happen, and I think we've all probably seen examples of trying to bring in a tool to be implemented for it to just fall flat. And the main reason is maybe the organization wasn't quite ready for that innovation due to other factors that need to be addressed first. Obviously, analyzing external trends, initiating an AI strategy, setting an AI adoption goal, identifying priorities. What are the things that you're looking to most impact? What is the ultimate outcomes look like, right? So, I wanted to make sure that we kind of talked about this because there's going to be different levels of individuals that are on today's presentation, and some of them will have the ability to influence adoption of AI. And far too often, I think there's a race to like, hey, we need to bring in this technology, but maybe not enough time planning and understanding exactly how these new technologies can reinforce meeting the organizational goals for hiring and ultimately the overarching company's goals for their whether it's a private company or if it's a company that's public. All right, and then something I also wanted to kind of just talk about a little bit when it comes from a partnership perspective of understanding AI is right. There's definitely some uh, considerations involving AI, ethical considerations, both from stakeholder perspective as well as from the perspective of candidates. So one of the key things that I think is important to really just promote is transparency. As talent acquisition, gatekeepers for the organizations that we work with. We should be moving forward in good faith, ensuring transparency, fairness, accountability. We should be promoting those philosophies to those that are in the decision-making seats around, hey, not only is it great that we have this transparency, or great this technology, but we need to make sure that we're conveying to people how we're using technology to help us identify the best talent for our organization. So that way, there's not this question of, hey, is there bias in our approach? I know that's something that people are concerned about, right? Is there going to be bias in the candidate selection? Is there human oversight of AI systems? And clearly communicating with vested stakeholders, how we use AI and why we use AI can help with those considerations. All right. So, we're getting close to the end of the presentation. And I wanted to kind of end with some practical uses of AI. Some of the things that I hear quite often is, well, that it sounds great, but like most of my experience is just working with, large language models and, like I really don't know necessarily how exactly AI is going to benefit me. So I wanted to kind of put together just some practical use cases that people can clearly articulate, right? So like smarter matching AI power sourcing, right? So, a lot of people on the call, they're probably familiar with Seek Out or LinkedIn Recruiter or Indeed or obviously Hire Easy, right? So those are some AI powered sourcing tools that you already use today. There's AI out there that's going to help with candidate screening. ATSs are currently reevaluating their offerings as it relates to AI and automating their screening and ranking, and so that way they're making a more frictionless, interview candidate experience. Personalized outreach. Many of the tools that I mentioned earlier have the capacity to help you write personalized messaging that helps you get more responses, to create more engaging communications that are going to resonate with the audience that you're speaking to. Internal mobility mapping. I spoke earlier about how we have an internal division, or department rather, that focused on internal mobility. We use an AI tool called Eightfold for that very thing. And so, across these use cases, AI is going to be, used by recruiters for decision making. And it's not going to replace us. And I think that's important to understand. There's a human layer, context, relationship building context to what we do. But AI, what it will do is it'll help us to be more effective, more impactful. And I'll just kind of leave with this, right? Just as some basic stuff that anyone can do, like even if you only have access to Claude or Copilot or whatever. I just built a prompt. Mark spoke about this earlier, right? Prompt engineering is a real thing. I just put in a basic, hey, build a Kubernetes DevSecOps engineer with a top secret clearance on the East Coast search string, right? And so this is the example of what it built. I could do it better, but essentially this is what it built. But it did it in like not even 5 seconds, and then it brought back the results. And so it brought back the results with the clearance, the skill set, and then also we were able to, if I wanted to, I could just click on that hyperlink there where they had the names, and they would bring me to their website, because I said I don't want to see LinkedIn, I don't want to see Indeed, I don't want to see Dice. I want to go to websites or niche websites where I can look at someone's resume, and it brought me that back. So if you're not someone that's super advanced in Boolean, well, guess what? Now what we have to focus on is less about building Boolean advanced Boolean strings or understanding how you can X-ray, and more about just writing a good prompt. So, and then Daniel, how am I doing on time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, so this is perfect. So we're right timing here, because the next thing I'm going to talk about is for my non-coder recruiting and sourcing friends. Right. So this is a prompt that I specified. I say build a resume crawler and provide step-by-step instructions that someone without coding experience can follow, and it did exactly that very thing. So, people may not know, but I have a background as a sourcer before, and so this I wanted to make sure that before I entered the presentation on partnership, that I left some tangible prompts that people can use right away, to help them go out there and find passive, hard to find talent. So. If you have this, I'm assuming that that the slide deck will be shared. Just follow these steps or follow that prompt that's on that screen here, and literally it'll walk you step by step. It'll give you the necessary files. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do step by step to build your own resume crawler, to bring back resumes from the web on niche sites that exclude, the normal stuff that you would, pull if you did like an X-ray, to help you find some hard to find talent that otherwise you probably would not have been able to find unless you know how to write in Python. So these are some of the advantages of AI. So again, in conclusion, AI is going to empower recruiters and sourcers to stay ahead. We must embrace it and invest in the skills and rethink sourcing strategies. So I want us to just continue to reimagine the future of hiring together.